Hi everyone, it is coming up to exam time, so I thought I would do a set of videos on exam technique. A huge number of grades are lost because of poor exam technique, and when you think about how much time you spend learning and revising the exam content, it does seem like a real shame to throw away marks because of silly little mistakes. So let's go through some of the more common areas where students lose marks. Let's start with the definition. A command word. A command word is a phrase used in exams and other assessment tasks that tell students how they should answer the question. Now, does that sound important to you? Well, as far as I'm concerned, going into an exam not knowing what the command words mean is really silly. So, let's have a look. Arjun investigates the effects of pH on the enzyme catalase. He uses catalase to break down hydrogen peroxide into oxygen and water. Arjun records how much oxygen is collected in 5 minutes. The table shows his results. So what have we got here? We've got pH values on the left-hand side from 6 to 11. We've got a volume of oxygen collected every 5 minutes in cubic centimeters. So what do we see here? This enzyme, this catalase enzyme, is breaking down hydrogen peroxide into oxygen and water. So if we are collecting a lot of oxygen, that means that that enzyme is doing its job very well. Now, if you look down the list, which pH do you think the enzyme is working at its optimum? Which pH do you think it's breaking down that hydrogen peroxide the fastest? Well, to me, it looks like pH 7, but let's have a look at the question, shall we? So Arjun has calculated the mean for each pH except pH 9. Calculate the mean for pH 9. So that's the first of 3 command words in this question. So let's have a look. How do we calculate the mean? So we've got 12.5, 12.6, and 12.2. So you add those up, you sum them, you press equals on your calculator, and then you divide by the number of figures there are, which is 3. So divide by 3, and you should come up with the answer 12.4. Notice that I've put it to 1 decimal place, exactly the same as the rest. If you're ever in doubt as to how many decimal places you should put an answer, just do what they did in the question. So 12.4 is the answer. Pretty confident we got that one right. Now, next we have to describe and explain the pattern. Now, don't forget, there's only 2 marks available here. So that's 1 mark for describing and 1 mark for explaining. So we don't need to put a huge amount of time into this. So what does it mean to describe? Describe, give a detailed account, report, narrate. Now I think of it as say what you see. Just write down what you see with your eyes. So what do we see? Well, we see that the mean goes from 18.4 at pH 6 up to 27.2 at pH 7, and then it goes down and down and down and down. Don't forget, we only need 1 mark on the describe section, so we're going to write something along the lines of, as the pH increases from 6 to 7, the volume of gas increases, then decreases down to 3.1 cubic centimeters at pH 11. That's plenty. That's plenty of information for 1 single mark. Now, explain. Explain, to give a reason so as to justify. That sounds like a fairly good definition of explain to me. Give a reason so as to justify. So let's give a reason for this pattern, shall we? So it's 1 mark. Again, don't go into a huge amount of detail. We need to make 1 point. Well, why is it going down? Why has the enzyme activity dropped after pH 7? The answer is because after pH 7, the enzyme's denatured. So pH 7 was the optimum. I threw that word in there. It's denatured. The active site was denatured, so it became less functional. It stopped working so much. I guess the trick here is to just keep it down to 2 marks. Everything I've wrote down there is absolutely plenty, and I think we can be pretty sure we're going to get those marks. So there we are. That's looking at 3 particular command words, and I highly recommend you take a highlighter pen in with you to the exam, and as you read through the questions, highlight the command words. Or if you take multiple highlighters in, have 1 particular color which you're going to use to highlight just the command words. So to finish up, here's a list of some command words. I recommend that you write down any that you're not sure of and that you learn them. Hopefully that brief video is useful to you. If you are in full-on revision mode, make sure you watch my video on how to revise and make more effective use of your time. Thank you very much for watching.